We're back. We have been stealing for you two things from ServiceNow that you can implement in your marketing system to become unfireable this week already.
Mhm.
It will be so fast to implement, faster than to find out what the heck is ServiceNow. Welcome, Michael, the Referrability Master Roderick, and me, as we share with you the two things that we stole from ServiceNow. What the heck it is, we will find out. Um, Michael, what did we steal?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we talked a little bit about, I think you would use the term "I am nobody," right? And we talked about this aspect of most people don't even know what ServiceNow is, but it is completely indispensable on the inside of people's systems, right? Like it's an internal system. It's not an external thing, but it makes the operations and just the way that the business works that much more effective. Now, nobody's heard of it, but you basically for a lot of these companies, they cannot live without it. If they didn't have that thing in the back on the back end, basically making sure that everything was sort of running, they would be completely lost.
Most people have heard of Salesforce. Salesforce has everything from the outside that help you communicate to clients, vendors, customers, users, everybody out there. And it has a market cap of 250 billion. Now, ServiceNow is the same thing for the internal processes, your HR, admin, IT, workflow, delivery of your work. And it has also almost 200 billion.
Yep. And it's a different type of dynamic, right? When you think about something like a Salesforce, they are very, very public. You'll see lots of branding, you'll see lots of stuff out there, specifically to like show who they are. But if you look at any kind of advertisement, or just if you Google ServiceNow, you're not going to find that sort of overt presentation. You're going to find a much more very, very thoughtful, like, let's get inside the business, let's talk about what's working inside the business kind of presentation. So we had talked about in our prior conversation the fact that there's this sort of man behind the curtain dynamic, as opposed to this like wizard dynamic that something like a Salesforce has.
Is it possible to get to 200 billion market cap without rah-rah marketing?
Looks like they did it, right? Like, that's the thing, right? And I think that often we overestimate the value of sort of a forward facing brand, and we underestimate the value of a brand that doesn't actually seek to be forward facing, but actually wants to be in the background, wants to get into the weeds of more of the operational elements of a business, and both can be successful. So I think that for a lot of people, they worry that they have to be so out front, they have to be more of the celebrity type, and you really can just focus on doing really great work behind the scenes. If and this is really important, and we've talked about this, if you can make yourself indispensable, right? Like, you've got to build something that if you get taken out of the back end, there's a major, major problem. And that's, I think, a big component of this is a technology that you get rid of it, none of these employees can communicate with each other in a seamless way. They've got to cobble together a communication system.
So the listener can become unfireable by creating so much value that they would miss you so much. It would be even more time or less knowledge or less motivation, or less data available without you, so that actually people say, no, 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 don't, no, 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 please, 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 we need actually more, or at least don't change this. I would miss this.
Yeah.
So, for example, Lufthansa recently introduced ServiceNow. Now, in 6 months, all these HR processes, like who is getting which payroll, when are they getting paid, what's their pension plan, all this data and knowledge will be in ServiceNow. Can you imagine in 2 years, Lufthansa saying, I saw an ad of this other thing, let's just switch over?
It's not easy, right? And that's a big part of the tech play. If you really think about it, it's are you building that tech so that if they did have to switch, there's just a lot that they have to deal with in order to be able to in order to be able to switch. So in many cases you're like, it's just not worth it to go through that whole process. And there are lots of beyond tech companies, there are services, there are things that you can create and build that do make it much more basically dependent in many cases on you and what you've and what you've built. And a lot of the time in the back on the back end, there's many opportunities there because there's just not a lot of people who think in sort of that operational sort of mode. So if you're one of those people to come up with that system or that way to make things work in the background, and you've built yourself into that process, it's hard to extract you and sort of move to somebody else.
And if I'm listening right now, I go, I don't have any switching costs. People can switch me out anytime. Like most expert based businesses, service businesses, they
Yeah,
don't have actual switching costs, right? Um,
yeah,
so, what can we do to become more indispensable? Well, think about, of course, observe between the lines, in the comments, in the discussions, in the conversations, have debriefs, ask them what's working really well, what's missing, what can I improve? And also in between the lines, you will get those informations and signals if you look for it. That's actually what to build out, what to do more of. And when you're doing that already, now you're creating value. The question is, okay, you land that, how can you expand now? For example, you might be their sales trainer and you have worked on their sales script. Now maybe you can say, okay, can I help you onboard the next 3 salespeople and train that sales script with them? And then you see that they need
yeah.
help with your CRM, and the CRM doesn't have an integration to that sales script. You might, can I help you smoothen out how the CRM and your salespeople work together and go deeper
Yeah.
into that client system?
Yeah, and you also see this a lot with consultants where they'll have relationships with lots of other service providers. So if you hire a certain consultant, you can get a better rate on certain things. You can get access to tools faster through certain consultants, right? Some people have specific relationships that are already built into their their offering and sort of what they have. And if those people leave, those relationships go away. So that also is another way. If you're in the service side of things, you can make yourself more indispensable because you're not just that service provider, you're also this resource where you are connected to lots of different possibilities and opportunities and people that they might not necessarily always have access to, and be able to connect to very easily.
Then you're a true bottleneck, which is even stronger. Like you lose me, you
Yeah,
lose direct access and phone line to Google or Meta. So are you sure you want this? They will not talk
yeah,
to you if I'm gone.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, you can never necessarily guarantee, right, that these companies won't take the call, but you can really lean on the fact that it's easier with the relationships that you already have versus them sort of trying to go in cold or them, trying to get in touch after you've gone, right? With the same, with the same person.
So that's one thing. The other is we had recently a client, they're called Client-THE, and they have a CRM for franchise businesses. And they
Mm,
were reading through the book, the Strategy Sprints book, and they were going chapter by chapter and doing like their own internal book club and applying those things. And I said,
mm,
guys, okay, which chapter are you doing right now? And they go, we are on the website chapter, Simon, how to improve our website. And I said, okay, what are you doing? Well, you challenged us. You said, who is the hero and who is the guide? So if you go to your website right now, who is the hero and who is the guide? If I see in the first 7 seconds, I'm so wonderful, this is who I am, this is who we are, this is our history, then there's something wrong here. You are not the hero. You are supposed to be the guide, the in the background, right? The old Jedi master. You are not Superman. You are not Spider-Man. You are Spider-Man's old coach. His his coach. You're 80 years old and
mm.
are helping him. You are not Spider-Man. You are not the hero. So that chapter told them to rewrite the website from the perspective of the hero. And the hero is here, and then the
Mm,
hero is on a mission, and they have an obstacle, and they need help. And now, oh, I'm the guide, and I have a 3-step help. This is how you start. I have a
yeah.
process. I can be your guide. This is the difference, right? ServiceNow, Salesforce. Salesforce, I'm so great. ServiceNow, I can make your life easier.
Yeah. Yeah. And that aspect of when you are offering the possibility of decreasing friction, right? When you're offering the fact that, hey, this thing is normally a pain in the butt, but I'm going to make it easier, that is naturally referable because
Mhm.
anytime anybody else is discussing frustration around the friction of their experience, the person who's using something that's decreasing the friction is going to tell their friends about it, right? So if
Mm.
somebody comes and starts arguing about or complaining about the fact that their HR team is, trying to communicate and it's not working, and it took them 3 hours to upload this thing this morning or whatever. Well, the person who's already using ServiceNow is like, hey, you know what? I don't really worry about any of that because I've just got ServiceNow, right? And they handle that, or the integration sort of handles that. It's very similar to I use Superhuman, right? Which is this app that basically makes your email blazingly fast, right? Where it's all keystrokes and it's all like it's very, very intuitive in terms of how it works. So I can't tell you the number of times where somebody will say like they're bogged down in their email or they never get to inbox zero or whatever it is. And I'll be like, oh, well, I just have Superhuman and I'm able to like snooze to my laptop from my phone and do all these things. So I hit inbox zero practically every day, and I say that. And then somebody's like, I want to know more, right, about that friction, like how to stop that friction. So if you're thinking about your own process and your own work, it's like, okay, well, what is that friction that I know for a fact I'm getting rid of because other people are going to talk about that. They're going to talk about the fact that you made it easier for them.
This is ServiceNow, folks. Did we cover enough on how they can apply it so you can become unfireable by creating so much
Mm-hmm.
value that they miss you? Then you can go deeper by being also a bottleneck, a resource, a strategic asset to them that they would miss. That because it would be harder without you. You can guarantee that it's not possible without you, but it's probably harder without you. Um, you can increase your referability by making sure that it's clear which pain you actually solve for.
Mm-hmm.
Did I forget anything, Dr. Michael?
No, I mean, I think I think the one, the one aspect is sort of the difference between sort of pain and friction, right? So pain is maybe I'm losing sales, or this thing isn't happening, or that thing isn't happening, whereas friction is I want to do this thing and I want to do it fast, and I'm still not able to do it fast because all of these things are in the way. Yes, that may cause pain, but it's that friction, it's that feeling of like, oh, I can't quite get this. I can't quite make this work. That's going to be the thing that somebody's going to complain about, right? So anytime, like, we're just naturally, as human beings, we're naturally impatient, right? And all of the technology that's been built has basically made us even more naturally impatient, right? So like we're so impatient now that if we want to watch something, we press a button, and if it takes an extra second for that thing to load that we're watching, we get annoyed, right? And if you look all the way back when we were watching television, we at one point had the patience to basically sit and watch a ton of commercials and watch TV live, right? like watch things and not be able to go back and all those things. So it's a very, very different world, and everybody's feeling friction. So if you're basically looking at, okay, well, what's the friction in the business? Like, what's the thing that's making it so that things aren't moving as quickly? You're just going to get a lot more people talking about you.
Guys, we'll be back. Stay tuned. We'll steal for you again. Of course, we don't tell you because we don't nobody to know our operations.
It's a secret.
Keep rolling, everyone. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint coach. We double your revenue in 90 days.
What if your business would run well even when you are on vacation? Discover how 1,600 business owners have regained their freedom using the Strategy Sprints blueprints. How they enjoy living their dream and watching their business scale. Get the exact checklists they use to go from stressed to fulfilled using the Strategy Sprints method. Order your copy of Strategy Sprints 12 Ways to Accelerate Growth for an Agile Business on Amazon today. And if you love it,